all in.
That's perfect. That's a perfect shot. Oh. It's kind of, is it lopsided?
I don't think so. I don't think it's lopsided. Well, maybe a little up this way. Maybe a little up this way. Is it?
What's good? My name's Alan Doyle, aka the number 4, aka that black man, aka still that same black man. And this is Porch Talk with Chris and Laura. Ha! Who's your number? Too sweet.
Welcome to Porch Talk with Chris and Laura. I'm Chris, that's Laura, and this is Alan Doyle.
Yay!
Hi everybody.
It's Alan.
Hi everybody.
Hello. It's rain.
So we're excited to have Alan here. I mean, I played with him at the first Dixie Fest,
yes.
and that was the first time I got to see you.
Yeah.
And was absolutely impressed, and I'm glad you're here because with Deheim and Shabaka that we've had on the porch, it's interesting to get that other side of things, and not just because maybe a genre changed, not at all, but because I still consider you a wordsmith. I mean, you could insert what you do into a metal band and it will kick fucking ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, and I believe that's kind of some of the way that you have the mentality of when you write it. At least it's what it seems. So I want you to kind of really go over how you approach writing and what you do, as opposed to your normal, typical or prototypical way.
Well, I mean, as far as like me, like coming up as far as like the creative side, I mean, of course I just sit and just focus like on everything that's been going on in my life, because it's basically it's based on my life in general,
right, or
what I see going on in the world. So I just think about that and just carefully
observational.
Yeah,
right.
It's in a way it's kind of like I'm just dissecting whatever situations is going on. So and that's basically how I come up with a lot of stuff that I say, and it's been like that for years. And of course nowadays there could be stress and all that, like I go through a lot of that, and that makes it a little tougher, but at the same time, whenever that comes out, when I push through that, like the stuff that I've said in any of the songs I've come out with, like makes it even sweeter, and then all of a sudden people are just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, because it's always been about who can relate, who can understand. So that's always been.
And if you can't relate or understand it, it's not for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Turn the radio off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like that with a lot of the mainstream artists. I don't get what they're talking about, so I'm just like, okay, well, it's not for me, but good for y'all.
Yeah,
good for y'all. Like more success to you. It's just not for me. And
all right,
go. That's all.
So being from observational, as far as that goes, where were you, raised at, and how much inspiration do you draw from, because I know it's not normal. So tell me about that. Growing up and doing what you do.
I mean, I grew up in Broken Arrow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I did too. Yeah, that's the hometown, And I mean, there's times I go back there and I'm just like, even though it's changed so much.
Yeah, it really has.
Especially South Side, because you remember South Side Broken Arrow, that used to be the prominent area.
Right. It's rutted out now.
Yeah, it is. North Side just.
my old neighborhood sucks.
Where'd you stay at?
101st and L. Arrow Springs.
I went to Arrow Springs. Yeah. Arrow Springs Eagles are me. But yeah, I actually when my family first moved to Broken Arrow, we actually stayed probably about a street or two away from Arrow Springs.
Okay.
And then after that, like after about a few years, we moved over to Inverness Apartments.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we've lived there. We lived there for about let's see, about 10 years,
Okay.
something like that, 10 or 11 years. And, you know, just growing up in Inverness, in the later time of growing up over there, like that's when I first started messing with music, and that was actually off of taking little samples off Windows 98, you know,
Okay.
like
Really?
little
Alright.
samples off that. And you remember the little sound recorder
Yeah.
programs? I used to open like maybe, as far as, you know, the screen could fit, probably about 9 of them, and I used to like chop up little samples and then paste them, you know,
Okay.
like take one here, take one here, take one here, you know, or you know, and just chop them up into one, and just
And then
make one long.
Play over it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was basically it's kind of like graphic designers. Like graphic designers, their first origin was MS Paint.
Right.
so in a way, music wise, sound recorder was my origin into producing.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then like about a couple years later, like I had moved to South Tulsa because honestly, I had too much fun at Broken Arrow. I wasn't focused on school, so basically my mom, said, "You're moving with your daddy in South Tulsa." kind of like Fresh Prince.
Time to grow up.
Fresh Prince of Broken Arrow, yeah.
Awesome. You need to make a little video
You
like
do.
that. One of your
Oh my
songs.
God.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with the song, just that though. That's awesome. Good idea. You heard it first on Porch Talk.
Yes.
Right.
Stay tuned.
That's awesome.
No, like
But you kept going with it.
yeah, I kept going with it, and about a couple years, like I said, a couple years later, that's when I was bored, and most of this music stuff, it really started from boredom.
Right.
So, like, I would take a broken headphone, like, I just break it off and put it into the microphone jack. Of course, I started writing my own lyrics, and then, like, all of a sudden, like, I was like, all right, well, let me see if I can record, and, and I recorded off of that, and, I don't know, I mean,
worked.
yeah, it worked really good. I didn't have the adequate software. It was about 2001, 2002.
Okay.
So I don't think I could afford any
Yeah.
software back then.
It's a lot.
So-
That's very expensive.
Very.
Yeah.
You can download shit for free now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
You
Yeah,
can get it done today.
You can.
absolutely. So
That's cool. So were you ever
times have changed?
were you ever a poetry writer of any sort?
Over the years, like when I first started, it used to be about just like, all right, like I'm gonna rhyme this with this. I'm gonna do this. At first, I used to be like, all right, well, this rapper would say this, and then over the years, I'm like, I don't want to do what they do. I'd rather do what I do.
No.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'd say further on, that's when I really got poetic because it wasn't so much a show. It was this event out south. I want to say 2011, 2012. I went out south to the Hardesty Library. They had this thing called Louder Than a Bomb Poetry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there was high school kids.
Okay.
So I was just, honestly, I was a little intimidated at that. But like, I remember going there and listening to all these kids doing poetry, and I was just like, these kids are deep. Like, they're awesome. And
Right.
I had to do a song. At that time, it was off my Forever album called Never in My Wildest Dreams, and I was just like, that song was basically about my origins as far as performing or just coming up in music.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, well, I'll do this song here, but the way those kids, were just,
It opens
they're
something
reciting and all that. I was just like,
Right.
okay, like I'm gonna have to
I
go on
guess
their
I
level.
gotta set my game up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And honestly, there's so many, since then I've noticed there are quite a few, like, or maybe more, poets in the city that,
Oh, it's unbelievable.
yeah, the poetry scene, they're really, like, incredible.
It's big. Especially at the Gypsy. I tell you what, those, John Paul, Jacob, all those guys out there, man, big love
I
to
love
them.
them.
Yeah.
There's some, and deep.
Talented.
shit.
So
Oh,
talented.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
got movie producers and,
Yeah.
filmographers and the whole 9 yards. Is that really a word?
Well, we just made it one if it's not. It's a good word.
Filmographers.
I
Filmographer.
think it is a word.
Hey, something for the Scrabble board. So
Right.
yeah.
We could have our own Porch Talk version
Use
of
that for
Scrabble.
battleship.
It's all that Laura isn't.
Oh, I'll make an observation because the way that you write and when you played and we saw you, and I've seen you a couple times since then, but that first time was like, and it's not, because you lived in Broken Arrow. I mean, South Tulsa. I mean, you're not, you didn't have the life that a lot of people unfortunately do.
Yeah.
I don't care what your color is, but you grew up where I did. We were privileged, to a degree.
And what's interesting, I knew a few people from Broken Arrow that actually went on, to do a lot of things in
Big
hip hop,
Yeah.
And then, of course, since then, I've known more people from Broken Arrow that have not just hip hop, but like rock or
Everything,
like R&B and all that. I was just like, wow, we got really talented talent here. So
Yeah.
it's
And that's
pretty
just
cool.
one suburb.
Yeah.
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 But
Mix it all together, it's a lot.
your writing is okay. So you got one vein of things where people are talking from circumstances that were like, damn, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm sorry you went through that, but for us, it's like there's something more emotional to it. You know what I mean? It's what's going on in here, not what's going on in here or my outer circumstances, but with the battle inside the heart, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, do you find yourself attracted to that type of music, no matter what genre it is, because it's emotional and pure coming out like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked the music that's always been, they call it conscious hip hop.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I've always been attracted to that, whether it's been like Mos Def or let's see.
Most that's probably the most.
I like him so much.
Oh.
I really do.
He's a good
he's
actor
great.
too.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
He's awesome. Like him and A Tribe Called Quest, and there's so many artists that have done the conscious rap, but then there's artists that not only they speak from the mind or for the mind, but it's just like the kind that gets you here. And I've always been drawn to that because there's times like once in a blue moon there's gonna be an artist that's just gonna just
Click.
grab
Right.
a hold of my attention like from the first time I heard it, and all of a sudden it's just like run that back and hear that again, and I'm just like, and I would just be like,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
yeah. I'd say the artist that did that is J. Cole, because he has a song called No Role Models. It's a really popular song, even though J. Cole is, he's a mainstream artist himself, but he doesn't get as much credit as Drake or Kanye or, like, he's got a cult-like following.
Okay.
But it's
You
just
like it or you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Because if you did, you'd like it.
Yeah.
You're one of those guys. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah. And he's got a song called No Role Models, and the first time I heard it, I was like, man, this is cool. And then I was just like, I want to hear that again. And I would just play it over and over. I was like, wow.
Right.
I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah,
I
okay.
like music like that.
I gotta check that out then.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then. What are some other influences that outside of the particular genre that you are in, which is actually not really one, you kind of snake in between a few, honestly, but what are some other influences that took your musicianship to where you're at?
See, as far as outside of hip hop, I'll say inside of hip hop, my true influences were Johnny Polygon and I'll say the old Kanye West, the old like when he had soul, back then. But those two, they definitely, back then Johnny was from here, went on to do great things. Kanye was a college dropout. I'm a high school dropout, so I was just like, I was drawn to that.
Okay.
But as far as outside of hip hop, I remember seeing, and this is years before I started doing shows, I remember seeing Godsmack in Dallas.
Okay.
And like the way they put on that show, this is outside of by the Cotton Bowl.
Okay.
At that amphitheater down there.
Yeah.
The way they put on a show, I was just blown away.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Godsmack of all things.
Yeah. I was like,
that's cool.
Yeah, and that weekend, that was just an unexpected weekend. My friend Bobby just, got me from work and it was just like, hey man, you want to go to Dallas? Let's go, man. I was like,
cool.
Okay.
Let's roll.
I'm ready, Bobby. Let's go.
Ever see Godsmack?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And then boom, unexpected, and you're like, oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was it the showmanship or the music or both?
A bit of both.
Because they have a big production. I mean,
They
or
do.
did back in the day.
Yeah, like the drum off thing that they did.
Yeah.
Like that was, to me, that was
The lead singer playing drums and the drummer. Yeah, it's
yeah,
awesome.
That was impressive to me. That was just like, man, like that's like, the way they pulled that off. That was like I was just in the crowd like.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay.
So yeah, I would say like, Godsmack was, like at that time they were definitely influential, and then like, since then like, like getting into the music scene, I was like, man, like how can I pull that off? That'd be pretty interesting. Like it's
you
just
got a bunch of dudes that are friends. They're like metal guys and rock guys and blues guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you know a lot of people, which is so cool because you have a convolution.
Convoluted.
Convalescence? No, that's where you go to the nursing home.
Well, whatever.
You have a big mixture.
Yeah. A big pot, so to
Big
speak.
pot.
Yes.
To choose from, yeah.
Yeah.
And just up here, speaking of that, I'm going to ask you this. What local bands are you digging on as far as, what we got going? Because we, I mean, as much as people want to hate, not hate, it doesn't matter. We're not trying to go there, it doesn't matter. But we got a great scene going,
We have an awesome. There's so many in this town that I've, ever since I started, it's so like, it's tough for me to, narrow down the few.
Right.
Because
you're not going to pick favorites. Yeah.
I can have favorites, but there's so many favorites. And honestly, that's a great thing about our city, especially the scene, because I've watched it grow like for 8 years now.
Yeah.
And that's actually a wonderful sight to see. It
Really is.
It's not just downtown, which is like downtown, the way that came back is wonderful, but I see it out south.
Right.
Or not necessarily out south, but Midtown.
Yeah.
Midtown is great. And then every once in a while, I'll see something in Broken Arrow. Or, Owasso has something out there.
Yeah.
So it's
DJs.
just like,
Yeah.
So
It's got it going on out there.
yeah. There's a lot of people that don't believe me, but they're wrong. Like we have something absolutely special here. So.
We really do.
What is your opinion on mixed genre shows? Because we were on a bill together that was completely mixed all the way around.
Absolutely.
But
that was a great show.
It was a great show. It was fun.
Do you enjoy the mixed genre, stuff that we have going on in several different parts?
I love mixed genre shows, and I wish more hip hop artists would hop onto that, as well as more, not just hip hop, then more rock, more rock bands, more metal bands, R&B,
Punk,
DJs as well.
Right.
I wish there were a lot more mixed genre shows, for the fact of you bring your fans, they bring your fans,
Absolutely.
bring their fans, they bring their fans, and all of a sudden they get to hear him, they get to hear this person.
and they may not even know
Yeah.
that they like that music, and then they hear it and they're like, all right.
Yeah, and that's, to me, that works so well. Just like that show, the Dixie Fest show, I'm sure there were plenty of people that have never heard me until that night, and all of a sudden they're like, oh.
Yeah, me,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And I never heard your band until that night. I was like, oh, okay. And it's wonderful. That's, credit to Roger for that. So,
Oh, yeah, big love to Roger.
yes.
At Ewok.
So some upcoming shows that you have.
I have a couple of upcoming shows. Matter of fact, is next week I have one with Jeremiah Kirby. He has an album release. I think it's called Me and Mine.
Yes.
Yeah, and gonna be on that show with him. Sprout as well. Sprout the Anti-Hero, and Timbo Kelly, who I've known for years. And it's interesting. Like, finally we're doing a show together, and I've known him for so long. I remember years ago, like I want to say 2006, 2007, like years before I got into the scene, like we used to be at a house party out.
Because he wasn't out of high school then.
No.
No, you weren't. I know you weren't, and I love you.
He was a youngin'.
You went to school with my daughter. I love Timbo.
Timbo's awesome.
Well, you finally get to share a bill with him.
Oh yeah, and it's not gonna be in a garage where we're jamming, you know, like yeah. You know, I'm trying to like sing my ass off when I really couldn't sing at that time. I'm better now, so.
There you go.
Yeah, Timbo, he's awesome.
It's awesome.
That's so cool. All right, well, and what day is it?
That is Thursday, January 10th. That's at Blackbird. Blackbird on Pearl.
So,
and the following night, I'm in Oklahoma City at Speakeasy.
Okay.
With my friend El Smooth. He decided to put on a show. As a matter of fact, El Smooth, he's very underrated. Yeah. Even though he's got, you know, a good following now. Like, he's come out with really, like, 2 really good projects. Era of an MC, which is really awesome.
Okay.
And then he came out with I Know What You're Listening To last summer, and it
that's awesome.
Or this summer, excuse me.
This summer.
And
that's a good. That's good. I like that.
And it's amazing, like the marketing for that. Like apparently that got promoted on a billboard in Kansas City. And I'm
nice.
I was like,
whoa.
I was like, all right, El Smooth, yeah.
That's great.
That's great.
So the next night you guys in the city on the 11th. Now.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So come out January 10th to the Blackbird. Not a bad venue at all.
We love
great venue.
Blackbird. Love it.
It's the old Nitro, man.
Yeah. Nitro, Eclipse. Like one of my favorite shows ever was at the Slaughterfest show 2011 at the Eclipse, and I felt like that moment. That's where I arrived. So, so that place, like whatever name it could be, like Eclipse, Nitro, 6th Street entry, or you know Blackbird. Like, I don't care what it's called. That building is special to me.
Special to it. Big love to it.
I think it's a cool building.
Big love to Kay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kay. Yeah.
Here's Kay.
Kay and Donnie.
All the way around.
Donnie, Kay,
Donnie,
Steve. That beautiful bartender that works there. You know, what's her name?
I don't know her name, but apparently she's working out quite well over there. So here's meeting you someday, sweetie, and keep up the good work.
Hey, she's looking good like a bacon and egg sandwich.
Ooh, snap! Alright.
Oh my God, there's nothing better than a bacon egg sandwich. Oh, some mayo. Oh, toasted. Oh, I'm hungry now. That's great. So, we're going to get into the fun questions.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of that bullshit. I want to know the Alan Doyle that I want to know.
Yeah.
So, well, not a local band, but a band you hate.
Hate.
I mean,
Just
can't take it.
Let's see. There's quite a few, but I'll try to do one. How about Five Finger Death Punch?
We get that a lot. A whole lot.
Yeah.
Actually,
Five Finger Death Punch.
And Guns N' Roses are the top 2 that people
the top
hate.
2, really?
Guns N' Roses is the one I hate.
Yeah, it's just over commercialized, same old crap.
I feel like with Five Finger Death Punch, they have 7th grade lyrics. Like as far as their original songs, like they have 7th grade lyrics, and it's just like I'm just like, oh God, come on.
Exactly. It's you do better.
And then the covers, like they covered "Mama Said Knock You Out," like LL Cool J. I was just like, they did that, like, like no.
It's not Run DMC and Aerosmith.
No.
Go sit down.
Yeah, it was
Doesn't work.
Very cringeworthy.
We can never tag them, they will hate us, because everybody says that. Answer that question.
I'm gonna tag him in this just for
You
that.
don't.
Hell yeah,
Okay,
you heard it
do.
here.
Yeah, well,
Tag him, tag him.
5-finger death punch. Well, I don't like it. Not
Alright.
sorry.
Not sorry, not sorry.
So what about your guilty pleasure? I mean, someone's getting in the car and you're like, turn the radio down, like, oh, sorry. Unexpected.
Let's see. Interesting. I can name 2.
Okay.
I'll say Can't Fight the Moonlight by Leanne Rimes.
All right. We've never had Leanne
That's
Rimes. I
first.
love it. I love it.
And I
Way
like
to go.
Leanne Rimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
That Coyote Ugly soundtrack, it was wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Movie was horrible. The soundtrack was awesome.
Yeah, movie was horrible, but way worse. The Coyote Ugly in Oklahoma City is pretty bad. Brick Town, that's...
Time to
like,
put
why
that
don't-
out to pasture.
Yeah, it's like, why do I have to pay for this?
Right. I don't want to. They
Like,
should pay me.
It's a terrible place. Like, come on.
It's great.
I've only been there once. That's funny.
Yeah. Once is enough. I've had friends, tell me like, we gotta go to Coyote Ugly. I'm like, are you sure? like, are you like, all right, whatever.
All right.
Then they get there and they're like, this is boring. I'll be like, all right, well, let's go to Blue Note. So.
Right.
Yeah.
The Blue Note OKC. Nice. So, what was your other one?
Okay, other one. This is pretty obscure, and I should know about obscurity. EP. So yeah. How about remember the band Swing Out Sister? Like,
No.
they had a song called Breakout back in the 80s. Like,
Break out.
yes.
Don't stop.
Okay, I never knew the name of the band. All right.
You gotta find a love to make it last. Woo! Got to find a way. Say what you wanna say. Great song.
Right.
Okay, I love that song. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that
Yes.
song.
All
I'm
right.
gonna be singing that all day now.
I'm impressed. I'm sincerely impressed.
You still
Yes.
stick to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Roller skate too.
It's a great song. So
Was Broken Arrow had the roller skating rink up in
Hell
Old
yeah.
Town?
yes, yeah. All Night Jam Skates.
Right.
You remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
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 That's great. That's so awesome.
So awesome.
Oh man, my cheeks hurt.
Mine
All right. So now, what about your theme song?
Yes.
So you shower, you get your clothes on, you're walking out the door in the morning. What's playing in the back of your head?
Well, I would play anything as far as, like those situations, but what's interesting is like, I'll have a song that I usually play before a show, like hours before a show, and that's Tonight Tonight by Smashing Pumpkins.
All right.
Okay.
'Cause I'm just like,
Kind of psychs you up for your show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. That's a theme song.
That is
Yeah.
a theme song.
yeah. And honestly, since, I've been playing that for years, and then since about maybe 3 years ago, I started playing, right after that, I would play Shirley Bassey's Jezebel.
Oh, really?
I would play that too.
Yeah.
Because how I found that song, that was in a sample of a Public Enemy song.
Okay.
And I usually play Public Enemy before I come out to the stage. So that's another theme song for me. But as far as the 2 songs I play before a show.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, Chuck and Flav. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I would play Public Enemy's Harder Than You Think on stage.
Okay.
And then like before like hours before the show, I would play Smashing Pumpkins or Shirley Bassey. Like at my
Nice.
house or in the car. So.
So funny. That's awesome.
I am so not your average hip hop artist.
I know, and that's why it's so great to to you and Shabak are just completely not.
Yeah.
You don't belong where you're at. You know what I mean? It's crazy that, and you could insert you into a rock band or a metal band, and those lyrics will fucking kill, man.
Yeah.
You know, and you already got the beat to it. And you just put a pick into it.
I've been thinking about, like, because a lot of people have been telling me, it's like, dude, you need a band behind you, and I'm just like, I'm thinking about it. You know, the whole thing is like, how can I pay them? Like, you know,
Fuck that. They want to do it. They want to do it. If they don't want to do it, then fuck them.
Yeah. Because I do a lot of free shows, so I'm just like,
I'm down on it.
yeah.
Free shows, man. That's all I've done for a while now.
Yeah.
I don't, every now and then go play an acoustic show and do my own thing, and I don't expect to get paid. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to do it. I'm working out a new song, working something out. It's like, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'll pass on. But when it comes to Dixie Fest #2, which was quite successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good show, and that was the same night as when the Roots came to Tulsa, and a lot of people were like, "Why would you miss that show?" And I was like, "I have a show." As much as I love the Roots,
I got shit to do.
I have shit to do. So
absolutely.
I was just like, sorry, But that night was really fun. Like, that was, because it was interesting. Like, the year before it was at Badass Renee's,
Right.
and then they moved to the Shrine.
That was the Shrine, right?
Yeah, and the way it was done at Shrine, I was really impressed. I was like sweet.
Yeah.
Well, there's something to be said about that hometown local feel that you get at Renee's place.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now you're going to start working on your 4th EP coming up. What's your anticipated 4th album, right? 4th album.
Yeah. Let's see. I've done. Let's see. There are a couple albums I've done years ago that aren't online right now. Like, they're hidden. So
This will be the second public one.
It'll be the third public.
Okay.
Soon to be a 4th public, because there's another album I have not put online yet, but I will soon. And that's the Pornography album that came out back in 2009.
Okay.
So that will be on my Bandcamp soon. But until then, of course, right now, the Forever album is on there.
Okay.
That was from 2012. And then 3 years ago, the Formula album, which got a great response off. Like, that was an album I was like, wow, people are really listening to this. Like, this is cool. Like, that's incredible. So
yeah.
But got that album. I've done EPs, for a few years. Like the Handsome Black Stranger, Who the Fuck is Alan Doyle?
Who the fuck is Alan Doyle?
Yeah. Bus Fare Fundraiser, The World Was Right, and Obscurity.
Okay.
Like, all of those are 4-track EPs.
Right.
And with this next project, I was like, I'm not gonna do a 4-track EP. I'll just go ahead and do an album.
Whole thing.
And this is my first time announcing it, so.
Oh, there we go. We were talking about it earlier, and I kind of forced him into it, so I apologize.
That's all right. But I'll tell y'all now. Maybe it should be out this year. We'll see what happens.
Cool.
But the album will be called Fortitude. Yeah, Fourtitude. So Fortitude. So stay tuned. Yeah.
Cool.
That'll be great.
So you can catch him at Blackbird. Got a list of great guests. January 10th. They usually start 9? 8? Somewhere around there?
I think it's 8.
8?
Yeah.
So 8 o'clock, Blackbird, January 10th.
Free show.
Check out Alan's stuff on Bandcamp.
Absolutely.
He's got all the stuff. Friend him on Facebook, because he's actually a pretty funny guy to follow.
Really nice.
Every now and then you come out with a pretty good quip, and it's all right. But Alan is an example of the changes that are occurring in our scene, where this guy has more friends that are not in the hip hop business than you do that are.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, he's a nice guy to hang out with.
I mean, it's kind of weird how that is. Like I knew a lot of people in the hip hop scene, and then some of them went away, or some just don't really talk to me anymore, and I'm like, what? No, I was cool.
I thought you loved me.
Yeah, I was like, we're not doing shows no more. Okay.
Alright.
Like, I mean, I got love for the hip hop scene forever.
Yeah.
You know, just talk to me.
Hit me up. Call him. Call Alan.
But absolutely pleasurable man, and just look forward to what he's got coming up. You know, give him a follow, and we sincerely appreciate Alan, you being here today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
So stay classy, Tulsa.
Yeah.
Stop fighting.
Stop fighting, everyone. Stop fighting, everyone.
Stop fighting.
Stop it.
Yeah. Just
It's enough.
Play Mario Kart or something.
Calm down.
Mario Kart.
Minecraft, something. I don't know what.
Badass.
Call of Duty if you're